So when I am sharing collage and teaching collage to young people, I love to share the work of Michelene Thomas. Um, she is a contemporary artist, which I think is important to share with young people. So oftentimes the work that they are exposed to are artists from the past, oftentimes the very far distant past, and that is of course important. But there is something I think really exciting about sharing artists that are working now. She's also a New York-based artist, which is exciting for young people to share that they work in the city, the artist works in the city that they live. She's also a woman of color. Could I ask for someone to read her bio, please?
I can.
Thank you.
Michelene Thomas, born January 28, 1971, is a contemporary African-American visual artist, best known as a painter of complex works using rhinestones, photographs, acrylic, and enamel. Her work draws from Western art history, pop art, and visual culture to examine ideas around femininity, beauty, race, and gender.
Thank you. I particularly love these two pieces because they're two pieces that include rhinestones, which I just think is a wonderful medium to consider putting into a collage and putting into portraiture. Is there anything in either of these pieces that really draws your eye, that your eye goes to first when you're looking at them?
I just love the women in the second one and how their dresses are, like separate from their bodies almost because they're bits of collage, but then they're put together like on top of them
Mm.
so well, and then they also like stand out from their background as well. Um, that just really caught my eye.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I like that a lot.
I
Anyone
thought
else?
about the one on the left. I really like nature scenes, and I think what sticks out the most is like that tiny yellow rectangle, maybe to
Mm,
represent the sun.
this
I
little,
like that.
yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. I mean, I've looked at these pieces many times and I've never thought of that as a representation of the sun. So thank you for that. Well, this kind of work can certainly be taught in a classroom, and I hope and have very optimistic hopes that they will be taught in the classroom next school year when the school year starts in September. But if not, or knowing that we're all, some of us are teaching now, thinking about the materials that we have around our house that can be used to create work. I have a little basket here of some of the materials that I collected around my house this week. One thing that I started to get really focused on was colors in packaging, and like everyday packaging, like the silver of a Philadelphia cream cheese packet, the beautiful blue of this butter. This is an incense packet. So I got really into collecting wrappers and rating my recycling bin. I also realized, I've thought this before, but I really realized the beauty of an onion skin, the color, the texture. I stole cat toys from my cat. I'll have to give them back because she's mad that they're not on the floor. There are on the agenda other artist examples for you to look at later, for you to think about maybe if you are teaching this to other students who also work with trash or recycled materials. Vic Munoz, who's a Brazilian artist who has worked a lot with trash and in garbage dumps. Also, there's an incredible resource that I encourage you to take a peek at and hopefully perhaps visit someday in the future. Treasures in Trash Museum. The man who created it is named Nelson Molina. He was a what is the word I'm looking for? He was a garbage man for the Department of Sanitation. He was a sanitation worker for 30 years. He had the same route in East Harlem. And he started to collect items and objects that were cast away that he discovered during his trash routes. And he has created this unbelievable archive, which is open to the public in East Harlem, of all of these pieces, and it's really quite extraordinary. And artists have engaged with the museum and used it as inspiration for their own work. So that's definitely a resource to look at. It's quite an extraordinary project. In color or texture or silhouette that we might have in our inspiration sort of toolbox. This is the piece that I created as an example for you guys. I don't know how well you can see it because I realize it's like pretty silvery colors, but it's a tissue box and the Philadelphia cream cheese. This was some junk mail. I used a paper plate because I happen to have some lying around. But again, this is just play. We're doing this for ourselves and just having a little creative fun on a Saturday afternoon. So I'm going to give you all 10 minutes to work on your own collage, your own self-portrait collage. And then when we're done, we'll share them up. We'll have a little Zoom gallery of our work.